All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone. We have the birthday boy from St. Croix back with us, Mel Doerr. How are you doing? Happy birthday.
Good, thank you. I want to say thanks to everybody for all the birthday wishes. Kim Copeland, she's
Mhm.
happy birthday. Kevin Lewis, happy birthday. Psychic Arthur, Linda Grindle, you, Danny Shea sent me a birthday message. But more importantly, all the people who sent all the beautiful, wonderful birthday wishes. And I really thank all of you for that. That was so cool. So thank you.
You're welcome. And it was nice you got like a little getaway right before your birthday in St. Croix. How was your trip?
It was a great trip. We have friends down there. My friend Judy, her birthday is uh, mid March, and so she called and said, "Why don't you guys come down for St. Patrick's Day and we'll celebrate both of our birthdays?" And I said, "Hey, you never have to ask me twice." So we left here on the 12th and we flew back on the 19th. And so St. Patrick's Day down there was just really, really, really amazing. Um, I'd heard about how neat it was in St. Croix, and I'm like, how good could it be? And it was like, wow, it was really neat. So it was a good
Yeah,
trip.
and you were showing me pictures. It just felt like a big old St. Patty's Day party.
It really was. And then Thursday night, that week we went Latin dancing, so I got to Latin dance, and I love Latin music, and I love to Latin dance. So, we were doing merengue, salsa, all
Nice.
kinds of stuff, rumba. So I was having a good
All
time.
right. Good.
I
Oh,
got a video. You won't be able to hear the music, but in the beginning, I just acted like I couldn't dance, and you line up, and then you like my husband doesn't dance, but they give you a partner, and I just pretended like couldn't get it, and so finally I said to one of the instructors, "Is this what you're trying to show me?" And the guy goes, "Wait a minute." I said, "Been dancing for years," but
right.
let me see here if I can find it. Um, Hold on, it's here somewhere. Give me a second. When you're trying to find something, you can't, right?
Right. That's how it always works, isn't it?
Uh, Give me 1 second while I'm looking here. You won't be able to hear the music part of it because it comes through my hearing aids. But here, um, here we go. I'll find it somewhere. Give me 1 second. If I can't, well, what can I say? Here we go. So the dance instructor asked me if I would dance. He and his wife own the dance studio, and I said, "Hey, I don't care." So here, I'll show you. You won't be able to hear it, but I don't think you can hear it. But there we are dancing. I lost a step right there, but
That's all right. Get it, Mel.
I started to get down a little bit. We were talking actually, and I wasn't paying
Yeah.
much attention to what we were doing, but um, then we started really boogieing, so it was like, yay!
It's fun.
Actually, that's salsa, but I stick that little kick in there because it's a little half beat, and I didn't know what to do with my foot, so I put that little beat in there. There we go.
There you
That,
go.
that's salsa.
Adding some Mel flair to it. I love it.
There you go. My own Mel Flair.
Mel flair.
Well, that was fun.
Well, I'm glad that you had a happy birthday and a fun trip.
It was great. Thanks.
All right. Well, everyone, we have a lot of political stuff that we have going on. So you can send your questions in the chat. We'll get to as many as possible. I see somebody asked a personal. We're not doing personals tonight, but me and Mel did, I think, talk last time. Maybe next week. Maybe we can do personals if he wants to do a
Okay.
live on
Well, let's do.
personal.
We'll do. You're on my show next week, so we'll do personals. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm just scrolling through to see um, if you ask questions. Um, Kevin, you've got a bunch of them starred too.
Yeah, I got
Should,
some of them start.
should we ask them to put them in all caps so we can find them quicker? Oh,
Yeah, if you could.
Rebecca Gabelto said, uh, uh, Eat your heart out, Arthur Murray. That's cute. Hilda Flores, nice moves, Mel. Thanks. Anyway.
Yeah, but try to send the questions in all caps, maybe a couple emojis with it. It kind of helps catch the attention. But yeah, we got a lot going on with Indictment Watch with 45.
We certainly do.
What are you picking up with that? I know that things were kind of delayed. Trump was saying it's interesting. Last week I was saying I felt like he may be indicted, and the Tuesday came to mind, but I think I was picking up on Trump leaking that. It does feel like things are kind of delayed, I think, in New York just for a minute so that they can get all the security and everything in order. But then there's stuff ramping up with the Mar-a-Lago case. And I feel a lot of energy around Fani Willis too. So
I was just wondering if that was really a leak about him getting indicted on Tuesday, or if Trump just said that.
Mhm.
Because maybe one of his lawyers said there's a possibility of this, and Trump leaked it out to create another one of his. I know he's going to get indicted, but I think just Trump leaked that out, made it up kind of to detract, divide, divert, deceive, the D's. I wrote them down.
I have them written down too. And also, I think too, I think part of it was to raise money because we know that he likes to, raise money from his supporters, but also too so that he could be in the spotlight and be the victim. He loves
Exactly.
attention.
Here again, divert, put him in the spotlight. I think you're right, Kevin. When you said that, my psychic light bulb went on. It was a way for him to raise money.
Yeah, and to get his base all excited and and so that he can look like a victim.
But then he called for people to protest. But it's funny, the anti-Trump protesters were more than the Trump protesters.
Right, yeah. And that hurt his ego bad.
Oh, of course
I
it
love
did.
it. I love it.
All
All
right.
right, we got some questions coming in here now. I'm going to pull this one up because we were just kind of talking about it. Rebecca asked, did Trump leak to try to get rioters?
I think it was that, absolutely, plus to get money, like you said, Kevin. When you said that, my psychic light bulb went on. But here again,
Yeah.
I think it was deceive, divert, detract, distract, and divide.
I agree. I do feel like there was a plan, though, to indict this week. I think
there
it did get
was. Well,
delayed.
but you know what? I never saw it this week. Somebody asked about it. I said, I don't think it's going to happen on Tuesday. I said maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Well, here we are on Thursday, but I think probably one of Trump's lawyers or somebody said, there could be indictments this week. And I think Trump pulled that whole Tuesday thing just to get money and to try to get people to riot again and to, he's afraid, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think on some level, in a perverted sort of way, he's enjoying the attention.
Yeah, I think so too. They were saying, those around him, that he hopes he's handcuffed because he wants to be the victim and the martyr.
Of course. If they're smart, when they do arrest him, or if they'll make him turn himself in, and they won't allow any cameras, and they won't show him in handcuffs.
And it's all too. I mean, yeah, it absolutely is to get his base all active. I mean, look at all of the stuff he's posting now, and really going on the attack against these prosecutors, and he's kind of tapping into that same energy that he was with January 6th. But I don't see that happening again. Maybe some protests, but we're not going to have anything like January 6th happen again. I think the FBI is really closely watching it, and the DOJ. And then also, I just don't think he doesn't have that power that he used to have. I mean, all the people that would have went on the attack for him, a lot of them are locked up or facing charges right now. And so nobody else is going to take that risk.
Freebird Spirit said he pulled Tuesday out of his
out of his butt.
Yeah, to grift. Good.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Freebird.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna get caught up on questions, but if you want to answer this real quick, Mel.
Constant.
Constance says, "Did Mark Meadows ever testify before Fani Willis's grand jury in Atlanta?"
I feel he did. My guides say yes.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what he testified to, but he didn't defy the order. He did testify.
Okay.
So that's what I pick up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he did too. Um, I think he. I don't think he wanted to. I think, but I think, I do think that he did.
I see
Um,
Viviana in the house. Hi, Viviana. And I see Sharon Sipes dies. Hi, Sharon.
do you get a date on when the Orange Man, the Mango Mussolini, is going to be picked up?
I love it.
Michael Cohen calls him Mango Mussolini.
What does he call him? I'm sorry.
Mango Mussolini.
Mango Mussolini. I don't think he's smart enough to be Mussolini.
That's true.
I just call him Cheeto Head.
Cheeto Head.
Insulted Cheetos. Wonder where we got that orange dye.
Cheeto dust.
Right. Yeah, from Cheeto. Um, I see the number 1. So it could be
Okay.
1 day, 1 week. I don't know if he'll get picked up. I think they'll just say he has to turn himself in. And on the way in, he's going to make it a real, doo-doo show. I saw one of the speeches he made about, you're right, Kevin. Trump will always tell you what he's going to do before he does it. But,
Mm-hmm.
he always vilifies everybody else. It's the reporters. It's the this. I can't do Trump. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my fault. It's gone. It's this one. It's that one. Anybody who goes against him, and now he's picking on Fox News.
Mm. Well, and he's even blaming the reason why people weren't coming out is because some of the Republicans, like Kevin McCarthy, were urging people not to protest.
Well,
So
I'm sure
that
Kevin.
kind of goes into that whole like Trump going after all of them, and this is just the beginning of it. So
Well, that's what we said, and I'm sure Kevin McCarthy was kind of pouting because Donnie's mad at him.
right. All
Um,
right.
okay.
I think that Alvin Bragg, um, the grand jury meets on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So they were saying that there wasn't going to be an indictment this week, because today would have been the last day. But you know what? It's interesting too. And when I read on this earlier this week, I'm still feeling like it may be Fani Willis that comes out first. We haven't heard a whole lot from her. I think it's going to be so close though. And like I said too, like the documents case is really starting to pick up with the judge and that grand jury wanting to talk to his attorney and get all of their conversations and any kind of evidence between the two of them. So things are really ramping up with that too. The energy is just really moving.
It's funny how his attorneys are trying to squash everything, but they won't. And if they take it to the Supreme Court, I don't even know if the Supreme Court will hear it. What was it
Mm,
you were bringing up before that? One of his attorneys, the judge said he has to testify
yeah,
because it involved a crime, and the
I
attorney
think
didn't. And they
tomorrow.
appealed it, and they didn't win it on appeal. I forget how that went, but I don't know if the Supreme Court would even hear the case. I
I
don't
don't
think
think they
so.
would take it. No, but it just there's something with the documents case too that I feel like is really big coming up. And I was saying on Tuesday as well with the New York case, I feel like it's more than just the hush money payments to
Of
Stormy
course, it's
Daniels.
more than that.
There's something else that's coming out with that that's going to be a bit of a surprise, I think, because I do feel a bit of shock more than just the Stormy Daniels thing. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
I vote for April Fool's Day. I got an email from Rebecca today. Rebecca, thank you so much for the email. But You know, in Uganda, they just passed a law where if you're gay outwardly, that you could go to prison for life or something. And I just said, I'm not going to hook up with somebody. I'm going to reconnect with nature. So I told my husband, one of us will take off our wedding rings. And I said, no, no worries. One of my travelers said she'd pretend to be my husband. Thanks, Rebecca, for offering that. I'm sorry, would pretend to be my wife. Thanks for Rebecca for offering that. So in Uganda, if you see me holding your hand, you'll know that I'm feeling afraid.
Mm. He'll be
Anyway,
fine.
I'm
I'm
worried about it.
not picking up anything like that going on.
You know, Ian McGrath came up with something pretty cool here. Can I read it or
Yeah,
no?
of course. Click on it.
There are 3 reasons. Oh, here we go. I'll let you read it.
He says that there's 3 reasons why New York grand jury is still out. 1, they might not indict. 2, there's more info coming in, which could make more charges. There are other indictments coming from somewhere else. I feel like they're going to indict, but I also think that it's concern for security too.
I think it's 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm picking up 2 and 3 as well.
You know, my guides are telling me, and that's a good point, Ian, that when, you know, they do indict, you know, Kevin, you're probably right. Georgia could very well be first, but it's going to be boom, boom, boom. They'll all start hitting at once. And that's a good thing because then Trump won't know where to turn.
Yeah, it's like he can't just focus on one of them to attack him. It's going to hit him from all sides.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely like the energies, and I think people in the chat were even saying like the energy is starting to feel pretty intense. And I think I'm not big into astrology, but I know that I think Pluto just transited into Aquarius, and a lot of the astrologers were saying that like this is not a good time for Trump. So I think that that's the heaviness that we're feeling.
Somebody asked me to do my impersonation of Mitch McConnell.
We love your Mitch McConnell impression.
My name's really not Turtle. My name's Mitch. Okay, there you go. I couldn't think of anything to say.
It's all right. All right. So let's see. Cindy P says, "Are there any people who were given pardons by Trump that actually didn't use the pardon yet? If so, can they still use it?"
Well, you can't give somebody a blanket pardon, I don't think. So
yeah,
there were some people who might think that, you know, they're immune, but, you know, if I think they can't use it. I mean, people that were pardoned are pardoned, and it's the end of the story, you know.
yeah.
But some of those people he pardoned, I still see them indicted on other things. And here's my legal question. My psychic light bulb just went on. So let's say Trump knew they committed a crime and he pardoned them. But let's say he pardoned them because it helped him to cover up a crime. My question is then, is that pardon valid? And I would think not.
Right. I do feel like there were people that were reaching out for like just a blanket pardon in case they got in trouble, but I don't think that they could use it now. I mean, Trump's not in charge of that anymore.
No, but there were people that that they took money from for getting a pardon. And I think they're going to start bringing a lot of that's going to come out too. Trump, there's going to be so much, Kevin, that comes out. That's a good point, Cindy P. But, you know, here again, if a president pardons you because you helped them cover up a crime, is that pardon valid? And there's going to be people coming out talking about that were pardoned.
Yeah.
And I think some of the people that he pardoned are going to end up going to jail anyway.
I see that too, Mo. Colleen makes a good point here. She says Texas Paul said he heard that Smith asked Bragg to hold off because it would interfere with his case at this time.
Well, you know what? My psychic light bulb just went off and said there's absolutely truth to that. I love to watch Texas Paul, by the way. He's really cool.
Yeah.
My kind of southerner.
I saw that Midas Touch posted something, and maybe this is what he was talking about. I hadn't watched it yet, but I have it on my playlist to watch for later, so I'll have to watch that afterward. But yeah, there was definitely something that held it up. But like I said, I feel energy from all three of those major investigations into them. Like it could be any of them at any time here. Like,
well, I see indictments coming from the states, from 2 states, which he will be indicted and found guilty.
Yeah.
The thing is, if it's the state that does it, then let's say we get a Republican president in there, then they can't pardon Trump for that because the federal government doesn't have that jurisdiction. A president coming in who's Republican could pardon Trump in the federal system, but not the states. So I think they're kind of all working together to make sure if one thing doesn't stick, they have other things that do. That's what my guide showed me.
Yeah. And this is why that one question about Smith asking Bragg to delay, because Evan Corcoran, his attorney, has to speak to Jack Smith again. And there's something big with that.
No, Evan Corcoran is Trump's attorney?
I think so. Yeah.
Is he the one that they said has to testify now?
Yeah.
Against Trump? Or okay. So
I'm just gonna throw a couple cards on it because I feel like that's gonna be huge.
Well, I think one of Trump's attorneys, they said, if you don't, then we're gonna hold you guilty for some of these crimes because I think isn't it like if the lawyer knows, well, the lawyer would know they committed a crime, but if the lawyer helps them cover up a crime, then the lawyer is not immune from prosecution and also has to testify, right?
Yeah. I got the Tower. And I think that says it all. Like, that's big. There's something big with this.
I got the 3 of spades, which means the pig, which means phenomenal luck, which means everything we're talking about will take place. Trump is going to be indicted. Absolutely.
Yeah.
From numerous sources.
Yes, I agree.
Except I don't see him going to jail.
You know what? I almost feel like it's like I don't know if it's just because it's unprecedented with the president, but I almost feel like he needs to be in a lockdown, secure place where people can't go in and he can't have contact with the outside world. And I think it's in regards to the documents and selling secrets and all of that.
I don't know. I keep saying Trump has got to watch his health.
And
I clearly don't wish any harm to him as far as health is concerned. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
But when I try to see a long life for him, I cannot see anything. And so I just am wondering how long he is for our Earth plane.
I've said that for a while.
Only you all.
Yeah. Definitely like concerns with the heart. And I don't know if that's just like, like a heart attack or maybe like a stroke. Because the head space feels obviously really off too. But
what his space is always off.
Yeah. All right. Yes, everyone, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps get this out there on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed already, please go over to Mel's channel and subscribe. And please subscribe to my channel. Help me get to 7,000 subscribers so we can do another giveaway.
When I get to 19,000, I'll do 3 free half-hour readings. So
nice. Oh, this is interesting. Gigi says, hello, Kevin, Mel, and everyone. Could the both of you check the possibility of that the indictment has already happened in secret and the Rotten Orange is under restraint to talk publicly?
That's a good question, but my guides are telling me no to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm feeling no.
They might have already voted to indict. I think they just might be holding off on it, but they'd have a hard time keeping that secret. But I do see 3 counts of indictment coming up really, really, really soon.
I do too. somebody asked me earlier this week if I felt like if one of the judges were going to put like a gag order on Trump because of all this incitement, and I got a strong resounding yes to that actually.
Well, I don't know. They can try to put a gag order on Trump, but that's like trying to, put out that's like trying to put out a forest fire with a medicine dropper.
Yeah, that's true.
That ain't gonna happen. The only way to put the clamps on his mouth is to lock him up somewhere, but then he'd find a way around that. So,
right. All right. Let's see.
I mean, he's going to try to tie it up in the legal process so long, just like he always does. The wheels of justice are slow. Sally, absolutely yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
I think Trump is thinking if he can, drag it out until there's a Republican president or something like that, then, they can issue him a pardon, and that might work federally, but it will not work with the states.
I don't see it.
Him under indictment in the states, and
well, and I definitely feel indictments federally too. I'm not really all that worried about that. I still feel, if Trump's even around come the next presidential election, which I have doubts that will even be the case. I still feel like the federal staying Democratic.
I agree. The clock will run out for Trump, not the other way around.
All right. Do you feel like his passports will or has already been confiscated?
Hasn't been yet. But when I think when you're indicted in the federal system, you have to turn over your passport. So I see him surrendering his passport very, very soon. In fact, I don't know if anybody out there knows the answer to this. I know that you have to surrender your passport, but in this case, the State Department might just, I think it's the State Department, isn't it? That controls passports.
I don't know.
I think it's the State Department. I think they'll just take it automatically.
Yeah.
So if he tries to get it ain't going to work.
Well, they did take his passport, but they gave it back, I think, when the FBI went to Mar-a-Lago. But I've said before, I know other readers have felt that he will flee the country, but I feel like that's a plan in the back of his mind, but I think he's being too closely watched. I don't think that's going to happen.
The only place he could go is Russia.
He could probably go to Saudi Arabia too.
Nah, that's kind of, I don't think the Saudis would, he could, but I don't think so.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling that.
I still think in his head, he's thinking that he's untouchable. I think he's afraid, but I think he's thinking he's untouchable. He's trying everything. He's trying everything to deceive, divert, distract, detract, all of the D's. Trump always tries to destroy the people that catch him doing something that he shouldn't be doing.
Right. Well, and Trump always kind of alludes to what he's doing by blaming other people for so you already know that like this is something that he's doing. It's part of that diverting,
Right.
diverting attention to somebody else and that distraction with it too. So
when he said if he were president, he'd put Hillary Clinton in jail. Ooh, wow, that's pretty prophetic for himself, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think we've heard the end of the Mueller report.
I don't either.
Stuff coming out about that too.
I feel like that's coming out more towards the fall of this year, and I also feel like with that starts to come, the dark money channels from foreign governments, like that being huge. But it feels like it's more like the fall time of this year. But I agree. I see that coming back as well.
Right.
All right. Aspie says, "Will Tennessee ever turn blue?" It's going to be a while.
Eeks.
Yeah.
When State Street in Chicago becomes a prairie,
Mm,
I don't see them turning blue for a very long time.
yeah, me too.
But it can happen. I mean, if the Democrats use the same playbook as Republicans, get a Republican in there that's really a Democrat, and then start to kind of stack things in that person's favor, then it could change at some point.
Mm. Yeah, but I think that this is quite a while down before.
It's a long, long while.
Yeah. This is a good point since we were talking about Trump fleeing in the passport. I don't know if you need a passport to get on a private plane, but like I said, I just feel like eyes are all on him watching him.
If you have a private plane and you're on it, when you land in another country, and you might be able to land your aircraft in that country, or that country might very well say, if he's on that plane, you can't land here. But even if that
Mm,
country said he could land there, then he'd still have to show a passport to get into that country. And so if a
okay.
passport's revoked, what's he going to do? Fly around all the time? So,
Right.
so the private plane
Well, I
doesn't.
think I
But
think he would ask beforehand, he would have a plan set up to, go to Russia, or like I said, I'm feeling like maybe Saudi Arabia is where his plan is, but I just think that he's just being too closely watched. I don't think that would be allowed.
but if he did that, okay, and the federal government found out about it, they could very easily send fighter jets to force the plane down.
Mm.
So
I don't see that happening, but I mean, they could.
you never know. But I don't even know if he owns that airplane. I think he rents it. It's just got his name on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think that company he rents it from is going to take the chance on him taking it somewhere and then defaulting on the rental. How are they going to get their plane back?
That's true.
And you're talking, I think it's a 757 or whatever kind of airliner it is. Those things don't come cheap. And so,
Mm,
if he's renting it, then that whoever the company that owns that plane is not going to take that kind of risk.
yeah.
And good luck getting a pilot to fly it, because then
Right.
that pilot could be held um,
Right.
for criminal charges.
Um, they ask, when Trump is arrested, what will happen to DeSantis? I don't know if I feel like the correlation between the two, but as I've said, I definitely feel like the two of them really, like, there's a battle between the two of them.
Oh, DeSantis going to be joyous, like, 'cause he's going to see the competition gone. But even if Trump is arrested, and he will be, Trump is still going to come out and say some huge stuff against
Mhm.
Satan. Trump said he's going to come out with this big story about the Satan, but he never did. But he'll think of
Right.
something, sure.
Well, and I also feel like too, if he was arrested, it plays right into the narrative of him being that victim too. So,
Correct.
the Trumpers that are behind him, if anything, it's just going to embolden their support even stronger.
That's right. You're right. Trump's base will be Trump's base, those ultra right wing Christian nationalist
Yeah.
mob of people.
Thank you so much for the donation. It's in the music, Diana. She says, I had a dream of Humpty and Visitor in a small room, documents in front of him, military pins on his lapel. Do you see him prosecuted for secret sold? That's what I feel like is the big thing, that really takes him down.
I think the federal government, the CIA, and a lot of them know that
Hmm.
took place, but they have to have proof. What I
Yeah.
keep seeing is somebody coming forward from a foreign government. It could be Russia. It could be another foreign government that's a whistleblower that will, in fact, say, it could be from Ukraine even, that yes, that there were secrets that were sold.
Hmm.
And if Trump's people say, no, that's not true, this whistleblower will tell whoever they are talking to in the United States what the secrets are. And how would anybody have known that unless they had access to those documents in their own country? So that would prove right there, that would link Trump and his cronies to them.
Mm. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is a good one. What do you get? Jim Jordan's creating a ruckus in Congress and wants Bragg to submit all of his evidence in that case to the Judiciary Committee.
Bragg doesn't have to, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not federal, it's state. And so Jim Jordan can scream, stomp, yell, holler, do whatever he wants to do. He can even ask Bragg to come and testify, but all Bragg has to say is, this is state, it's not federal. Jim Jordan, you're federal. Keep your nose out of my business.
Yeah.
They have no authority over Bragg. And that's what
Well,
my guys tell me. So
yeah.
Jim Jordan, Jim Jordan's looking like a complete goofus.
Yeah.
This whole thing that Republicans are doing to try to, here again, deceive, divert, distract, attract. I'm sure that Jim Jordan is getting his plays probably from Trump or people
Mm-hmm.
around Trump.
Yeah.
And Jim Jordan is going to come down hard as well, because at some point I see Jordan under indictment.
Yeah. Me too.
So
Yeah, and he's going to do all those things. He's going to throw a big old fit and make a big old scene. But I agree with you. I don't feel, and I think Bragg's already made a statement saying, this doesn't concern you, and I don't see like him actually showing up. I'm sure the next step would be for them calling on him to testify before them. But isn't it funny that they're going to throw such a fit over that? But when the January 6th committee wanted to hear from some of them, they said that they didn't have to show up for it, and they never did.
all Bragg would have to say is, it's confidential information for the state. The federal government has no jurisdiction. I'm not going to answer your question.
Yeah.
So, essentially Bragg is saying that to Jordan. So my guides are telling me that Jim Jordan can scream, yell, do whatever he wants, but he's got no jurisdiction over Bragg. And
Yeah.
Bragg knows that, and so does Jim Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They're
But
just
it plays into their narrative.
They're just
It
trying to
plays
make
into
it
their narrative.
correct. It's just changing the narrative. It's divide, destroy,
Mm-hmm.
deceive, distract, detract.
Yeah. Detract, right? And yes, Connie B, for entertainment purposes only. Thank you. Always have to remember to put that in these videos. All
Hey,
right, you
Sherry,
guys.
Voices from the Swamp. How are you? Are you there, Kevin?
I'm here. I was just picking a question.
You
Karen,
froze for a second. That's why I asked you.
okay. My internet's been a little bit spotty lately, so. Karen Carpenter said, "Why did Republicans buy property next to the Capitol building? Did they just now buy property? I know that they were having meetings at a hotel for January 6th, but it feels like a gathering that can be in private is what I'm feeling."
I agree. I didn't know they did, but when you said
Hmm.
that, my light bulb went yes. So I agree.
Yeah. Sterling Rosa says a letter was just sent to Jim Jordan from Bragg, and it said exactly what you just said, Mo.
How do you, I have a question. How do you put this in a letter? Bless your heart. That's how you put that in a letter.
Right. All right. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of the same kind of questions. So
I'm checking them too.
we've talked about this before, but will the U.S. allow the southern red states to succeed or get a divorce from the U.S.? No,
Well, it's
absolutely not.
illegal, and I think if a state tries it, then they could be the governor of that state could be held, or the people that want to try it would be held responsible for insurrection, and we'd be able to send in troops to squash that.
Mm. Yeah, I do too. I just don't see that happening. It's all talk, It's all talk from these Republicans, and I think they enjoy just the circus that they're creating. They like all that kind of attention, and their base the MAGA base enjoys it too. So it's the rest of us that see how crazy they're acting right now, and it's going to cost them elections for a while. All right.
I agree. Kathy Reagan said, I hope I'll get picked for Mel's free readings when he gets 7,000 subscribers. No, Kathy, Kevin is looking towards wants to get to 7,000. When I get to 19,000, I give away 3 free half-hour sessions. Not when Kevin gets to 7,000. Kevin will give away something at 7,000 from him.
Yeah. We're getting close there too. And I think last time we talked, you were getting close. You said 19,000.
Correct.
Yeah. So just stay tuned and keep watching. Oh, and also too for my subscribers, I've been getting a lot of comments lately that people aren't notified when I go live. Make sure when you subscribe, because I mostly do live streams, click on that notification bell on the side, and you can turn it on all the time I go live. It will notify you.
But it'll also notify people when you're going to have a pre-recorded, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't do pre-recorded very often. So.
I know. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. How's that?
But yeah, so if you're having any problems and missing me and want to make sure that you catch me live all the time, if you're able to, just hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button. All right. So it's in the music. Diana says, Mel and Kevin, how long before McCarthy's gone? I don't know if I get a clear time on it, but I don't think I said it when he got in. I don't feel he'll be in there for long.
I see the number 13. My guide showed me the number 13. So it could be 13 days, 13 weeks, 13 months. It's not 13 years. Maybe it's Friday the 13th. My favorite day.
That could be too. I was kind of feeling like what just kind of came to me, and timing's always a bit hard, is maybe sometime in the summertime. So maybe that goes with the 13 weeks.
I see. Yeah, I just see 13.
Energy's always kind of changed, and there's a bit of wonkiness with it, so it's always kind of hard to pinpoint timing.
It is. Time is hard for us.
All right. Oh, this is good. I think we've read on it before. Doris says, hi, Kevin and Mel. Who will win the Supreme Court in Wisconsin? Janet Protese or Daniel Kelly?
I don't know which ones is which.
I think the female Janet is the liberal and the male is the conservative. And I'm feeling a lot more energy towards Janet, but I think it's going to be close.
At some point, I see more of a Democrat holding a position in the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
That will be so important too, because if the liberals can hold that, it will sway the swing of power, and they can actually start taking care of some of that extreme gerrymandering that's going on in Wisconsin.
Well, Wisconsin used to be one of the most progressive states in the union until Scott Walker became governor. And he changed a lot of that, but I see it coming back to blue again at some point. And a lot sooner.
I mean, it went blue in 2020 for Biden, but I think the governor's race was really narrow. It's a very narrow kind of blue, like purple state.
Well, they elected a Democratic governor in Wisconsin. The only problem is the House and Senate up there is Republican. So at some point, I see the House and Senate up there changing back to Democrat control.
Well, and that kind of goes into that gerrymandering too. So
correct.
And I think that that's going to get taken care of. I definitely feel a lot more energy towards the female, but it will be a close election. That's what I'm feeling. All right.
I'm going down here reading the chat as you're talking, Kevin. I'm not ignoring you. I'm listening to what.
Maria has a question for you, Mel, and you would know this more than I would. But do you train our wayward dogs on their human parents? I'm not sure what that.
Okay, so here's the saying that we have. We say we teach the dogs and train the owners.
That's a good point.
So we teach the dogs and train their human parents. That's my
Thank you
answer.
so much. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Dora.
Oh, that was nice.
All right. Well, this is a good one. Talking about the Satan. Will he decide not to run due to low interest energy from voters? He's not a strong debater and won't keep up the critics. I think I see him deciding to run. I see him throwing his hat in.
He'll run, but he won't win. And
Mm,
I don't know how that if he's running for president, then I don't know if he can be governor of Florida. I guess he could be, but
yeah,
I see Florida changing at some point, and I think they've had it with the Satan. I think the teachers union down there has had it with him, and I think a lot of people down there have had it with him.
yeah.
I see
I
him.
see. Okay. I see him in trouble too. He's in some legal trouble, I feel, and it's not like it's insignificant.
Can I just comment on something? Do you mind?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So ASPY Third Eye said the purpose of a passport is to get back into the US. You only need a visa to go elsewhere. I don't mean to be confrontational, but that's not correct. I do a lot of traveling. And when I go to a European country, you have to show your passport from your country of origin to get
Mm,
into that country. Otherwise, you won't. And not every country requires a visa, depending on the treaties we have. But you've got to show a passport to get into that country. And trust me, I've traveled everywhere. And every country I've gone to get in, you got to have your passport. Otherwise, you're not going
yeah.
to get in.
All right.
I
Well,
just want
thanks
to
for.
clarify that.
Yeah, of course. All right. Joanne says, "Will the feds come in the night to avoid drama?"
No,
I heard no too. I heard no too.
I just think they'll tell him to turn himself in. And if he doesn't,
Hmm.
then they'll go arrest him.
I see him. He wants the attention. He's actually part of him's kind of excited, as angry as he is about all the investigation. He's excited to play the victim and to get all that attention. So I think he would willingly go.
Well, if they don't, if he doesn't turn himself in, then they would go probably and not let anybody know about it and arrest him, and they would do it so that nobody would know about it until after it's done.
Yeah. And just going back on to Satan real quick, um, we're starting to see like them starting to go at each other. Like Trump was alluding, like maybe you don't want to go for this position because once you do, you know, all of the younger women that you were with, and the media is going to make up all these stories about all the younger women that you were with, or even possibly men, and like he's doing a lot of like veiled threats to DeSantis. And I see that actually playing a big part in his popularity and not being
Oh,
successful in the past.
I see a lot coming out to question Satan's morality, if you will.
Mm, yeah,
In other words, it'll show what a hypocrite he really is.
uh, I've talked about this many times, but with all the insanity in the Republican Party, do you seeing them being able to corral significant support to threaten the Democrats in 2024?
I think, I don't, I knew that when the Republicans took over the House, it would be a real circus. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of Republicans are saying, what's going on in the House? A lot of Republican uh, members of the House are like, what's going on in the House?
The Republican Senate's asking what's going on in the House.
Correct. And I think a lot of the people in the House that are Republican are kind of working behind closed doors with Democrats and working together to try to get things done.
Yeah, I see
It's
that
just
at some point.
that it's just the Trumplican faction of the House that's causing the issues.
Mm,
And McCarthy's going to have to learn that he can't play to everybody. He can't do that. So I think, Kevin, you've been saying all along that the Republican parties will implode and fracture, and you're right. You were right.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I think, and maybe, maybe the Republicans just narrowly taking the House was meant to happen for a reason for 2024, to bring that awareness of what's going on in the Republican Party. Because let me tell you, and most independent voters, what's going on in the House is really turning a lot of them off. How can you support a party that's just so crazy, going after all the minorities and women and LGBTQ and all the drag shows? It's just it's crazy what's going on, and it
Well,
is really turning off a lot of voters.
my guides told me they'd pick on us next, but they can pick on
Hmm.
us all they want, but it's not going to go anywhere. Oh, this
Yeah,
is good from Sweetie Darling Lulu. Trump
yeah.
weighed 1.5 million from Tuesday's grift. So
Hmm.
that tells me right there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep that money. He's going to have to pay tax on it. And so people are going to start getting wise to those stories that he plants. Was he asking people for money, by the way, Kevin? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure he was. I think he was asking his supporters for money. Doesn't
Well,
surprise
then
me any.
he better use it for what he said he's going to use it for, because I see laws being passed in the future to prevent that sort of thing from happening.
Yeah, but I see all this craziness really turning off a lot of voters. And the Senate map for Democrats in 2024 is not, they are defending a lot of seats. And I think because of all of this, I see us, I think we might actually get the House back before 2024, but I see us keeping those. I see a lot of progress coming in
See,
2024.
I'm thinking the same thing, that we can get the House back before
Hmm.
2024.
I mean, what, they have a 4 or 5 seat majority. Santos, somebody asked about Santos. I think he's going to be the first to leave, and I don't think it's that far out in the future, to be completely honest. Um,
I see Santos in jail,
yep,
and at some point, I see him jailed in Brazil. And now he could be extradited. I don't know, but I still see him in Brazil at some point, standing trial
yeah,
there as well.
and he's in a competitive seat too. He's like, I don't remember what district he's from. I think it's off of New York City, like uh, maybe I don't think it was Staten Island, but somewhere around like the New York bureaus, and he just very narrowly won that too. So that could very easily go back to Democrats. And we've been saying too that at some point a lot of these Republicans that were part of the planning of the insurrection on January 6th, I see some of them having to leave and some of them going to jail.
I see Santos gone. I don't know if they can replace him with a Democrat. I don't know if they have to have a special election.
They'd
I
have
don't.
a special election
Well, then a
for the
Democrat
House.
win it.
Hmm. Long Island. Thank you. Yeah, he's from Long Island. So, all right. Excuse me. We've been on for almost an hour. It feels like we've been on for 20 minutes, doesn't
I
it?
know, it feels like 5 minutes, doesn't it?
Time flies by.
Hey, great heads work together.
You're right. Okay, let's talk about China and Russia. So, do you see China turning on Russia? It just come out that Putin's mercenaries killed the Chinese workers in the gold mines. I hadn't heard that.
I didn't hear that, but I think China was kind of talking to Russia about a litmus test, because China was wondering if they should invade Taiwan, but they won't.
Mm,
Uh, I think China wants to look good in the eyes of the world. Look at what a peacemaker we are. But they're not looking good to the Ukrainians, that's for sure.
right.
So I don't know if they'll turn on Russia, but at some point, once Putin is gone and Russia gets somebody new in there, the relations between Russia and China will sour. It's just going to take a while.
Mm.
That's what
Yeah,
my
and I
guys
think.
tell me.
Hmm. Well, and obviously, you know, China and Russia are working together behind the scenes in some capacity, but I don't see. I think China maybe is helping Russia with some money, but I really feel like Putin really wanted weapons, and I don't think China's going to push it that far. They're trying to they're trying to be very careful with it, is what I'm feeling. But I definitely feel like maybe some money has went to Russia.
My guides have been telling me for a long time that China was helping Russia under the table with money. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
that's going to come out at some point. Whistleblower is going to come out and let that one go. Probably somebody from Russia that was close to Putin.
Okay. Yeah, China's playing both sides. Thank you, Hoda. I feel the same way.
They are. Absolutely.
But I've been saying too, I don't feel like Putin's going to be in Russia for much longer. I really don't feel that.
I'm
He's
sorry.
not. I don't see Putin in charge of Russia for much longer.
I don't either.
I don't feel, for entertainment purposes only, and we're not wishing, this on anybody. He's suffering through something major with the health. But if that doesn't take him out first, I feel like people coming after him and trying to get rid of him is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I keep seeing illness all around Putin. And I saw him with that Chinese guy. You could tell he had makeup for days. He kind of looked gaunt or something.
Yeah, he looked awful. He looked awful with his meetings with Xi.
Exactly. So I just don't see him around long.
Yeah, and I feel like his people, if the illness doesn't take him out first, his people kind of turning on him and at least an assassination attempt is what I'm feeling.
There you go. I don't know who will follow Putin, but whoever it is won't stay in power long.
I've always felt like it's somebody like that's in charge, maybe of like military now or something. It feels like there's like an interim president, and then there's actually a decent president coming in after whoever's in shortly after him. Is what I'm kind of feeling.
Okay.
I think it's going because I feel Russia having kind of like a revolution almost, and a lot of like really positive changes in Russia in the coming years.
I see Russia becoming democratic again. Is what I see.
Me too.
And putting things in place to keep the rogue person from ever taking power again there.
I mean, this is kind of hard to ask, but do you get a hit from your guides approximately how many House and Senate Republicans will be in trouble?
In the House, about 7, maybe.
Okay.
The Senate, probably 2 or 3.
I was reading on it before, and I've always felt like 8 to 12 people getting in serious trouble.
All totaled?
Well,
I feel
a lot more from the House, but it feels like maybe 2 or 3 Republicans in the Senate too.
That's what I feel. So 7 and 3 is 10. There we go.
Yep. All right. Got a little bit of time. Probably can do a couple more questions. Oh, this is interesting. Well, I don't know if you have said or seen this, but do you see a moderate replacing McConnell? I think he's up in 2026, and with things going on now, I feel like he's not going to finish out his term.
I see somebody more middle of the road replacing Mitch McConnell. Of course, right now McConnell looks liberal compared to some of those people, the ultra right wing Christian nationalists. But
right,
I didn't say McConnell was liberal by any stroke of faith. But I see somebody more middle of the road.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad when you have Mitch McConnell standing up for what's right. Like that's pretty sad, and I have no respect for Mitch McConnell and all the things that he's done. I don't think he's a good person, but it's pretty crazy that the MAGA Republicans are just like making Mitch McConnell seem more liberal or more sane.
I know. Isn't it scary?
It's scary.
Can I just put one up here? I didn't hear this. I don't know. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, go ahead. Pull it up.
I don't know about this. Linda Hepburn, I'll let you read it, Kevin. That just caught my eye.
Yeah, I did hear this. That Florida's trying to pass a law that makes being a Democrat illegal, and I think all the people that vote for Democrat, like on the ticket, like they're registered as a Democrat, like erasing them from um, their voter registration, and I don't see it being successful. I don't.
I don't see that successful at all. I mean, if that ever went to the Supreme Court, even with this court, they would say, wait a minute, a person has the right to be whatever political party they wish to be,
Right.
and they can't make that illegal. I mean, that's the first I've heard about it. That one just shocked me. I mean,
Hmm.
whenever
It's
I
crazy.
also shock me, I get shocked. Um, but I don't. That's not going to fly at all. My guides tell me no.
Yeah, I feel like a strong no with that too. I mean, I think obviously they're trying it, and they're going to try, but if they do pass it, which I mean, it's crazy. I definitely see that nuts. There's no merit to it. It's not
It just
standing.
gets crazier and crazier. I mean,
Hmm.
people. I mean, you know what? I guess what's the moral of the story? If you're a Democrat, don't move to Florida. But you know what? That's going to bite them in the butt because at some point I see Florida being purple. So good.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too that so many people go to Florida and retire in Florida. They have um, like a lot of like, and that's maybe why Florida's trended a little bit more Republican lately. Although I'm not getting into it, but I feel like there is some sketchiness going on there too. But but
Yeah, Democrats in
you
Florida.
have well, right, no, of course, yeah, you have Democrats too, but you have a Florida senator talking openly about getting rid of Social Security. Like, how are they okay with that? I don't get it.
Exactly.
I
It's
don't
not.
get it at all.
I don't think Social Security is going to go anywhere.
No, I don't see that either. But I mean, it's just crazy.
Thanks for letting me pull that up, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I haven't brought it up. I had heard about it though.
I just saw it and was like, whoa.
Hmm. Did you hear about this? That Tucker Carlson's producer Abby Grossberg is suing Fox. Tucker Carlson, several producers alleging network is rife with sexist, misogynist, and abusive behavior outcome. I felt more lawsuits coming up against Fox, and I read on it. I felt like she'll be successful in her lawsuit.
I didn't hear about it, but well, why does that surprise you? I mean, with the people that are working there,
Right,
uh,
right.
I I see a win for her. I mean,
Mm,
um, if Fox is smart, they'll settle it out of court. But I don't know. She might want to take it to court because she's not going to give up, and I see
mm.
her. I see her being victorious.
Yeah, I feel like a win for her too. And I think that that's just one more because I think a lot of people were saying, excuse me, with Dominion winning isn't going to bankrupt Fox, but I feel multiple lawsuits coming out against Fox and it really affecting the money that they have. I think that they're going
Whoa!
to have to change.
Yeah, she's going to win. I just
Hmm.
saw an interesting comment. Vincent Perry says,
Pull it
DeSantis is
up.
introducing a bill so he can go back to Florida governorship if he doesn't win the election.
Yeah,
He'll do anything to hold his power, won't he?
yeah.
I don't see him being successful in that, by the way.
Well, I feel like even if he is, um, I like I said, I feel some legal challenges coming up for him that are not good, and I almost feel like maybe not jail for him, even though he deserves that, but I just feel like public shame, like his political career is over.
Well, what they're trying to do is eliminate people's right to vote and
Hmm.
negating that vote if they don't like it or if they don't stay in power. And they're not going to win on that at all. So,
Right,
I mean, he could introduce a bill all he wants, but the people still have a right to vote. And
right,
if it ever went to the Supreme Court, the court would say you cannot restrict people's right to vote. That's what my guides tell me.
yeah,
And, I think a lot of those people, like in some of those southern states, to Satan included, if they don't get what they want, then they will want to put us in a constitutional crisis so that they could
Mm,
try to get their way. But even if we did go into a constitutional crisis, it wouldn't work out in their benefit. I can tell you that right now. That's what my guides are telling me.
I agree. This was a good one. I hadn't thought about it, but do you see Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, pardoning Trump? I heard a strong no as soon as I read it.
I get a no on that one.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
I'm because if he did, it would look like, okay, who got to him? And it's too much,
Mm-hmm.
it's too hot.
Yep. And maybe that's it. Maybe he's in trouble for taking hurricane relief money, DeSantis.
Um,
It's something money related, I think.
I didn't
And
see I didn't see what you're commenting on, but
we were talking about DeSantis and his legal troubles.
oh, I see.
Taking money from the Hurricane Ian relief money that was done, I think.
Well, that's federal. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just see DeSantis having a world of legal problems coming.
Yeah, and I've said too. I do feel the connection between the Matt Gaetz trafficking thing, and I don't think that that's completely over too. And I feel a connection with DeSantis there too, for entertainment purposes only.
Well, there's going to be a lot
It's a lot.
of juice coming out onto Satan.
Hmm. I want to say thank you, Carmen, for the super sticker. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. All right, Mel. Are you going to do one or two more?
Yeah, go ahead. You
All right. This is an easy one for me. Kathy says, "Do you see there be more women in politics in the future? A lot more. I
Yes,
actually think that.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that they'll at some point it will even almost be like a 50-50. Like women get like an equal representation.
And not like Marjorie Taylor Greene kind.
Right, right. All right. Oh, this is good. I don't know if we've read on Fetterman, but do you think he's going to make a comeback um, with like the depression that's really hard for him since his stroke, or do you think he's going to have to leave early?
I think his depression is neurological from a stroke.
Hmm.
But he's not ready to give up yet.
I feel the same.
He's not going to throw in the towel.
And like I said too, even if he decided it was best to focus on himself and his own health, although I feel like that fiery energy with him, like um, the good thing is that PA has a Democratic governor and would appoint another Democrat, so it's not like it would go back to Republicans. But I feel him trying to fight through it. Is what
He's
I'm
not
feeling.
ready to throw in the towel yet, that's for sure.
Right. Let's end on this one. I think TikTok was um, the leader of TikToks, or was in Congress today. But do you feel like TikTok's going to be banned, and are they really surveilling teen and people with like the Chinese government?
Well, they are. The Chinese
Hmm.
government were surveilling teens, people, and the government. Absolutely. And they were using that to see how they could use TikTok to influence future
Yeah.
elections and future, uh, uh, you know, opinions of the people to create chaos and anarchy, just like Putin did.
Hmm.
Um, and so at some point, I see really, really strict guidelines being laid down that TikTok has to follow. I don't know
Okay.
if they'll ban it completely, but this TikTok thing is not a witch hunt. I mean, what they're saying about TikTok is absolutely true. And my guides tell me for
I
entertainment
agree.
purposes only.
Hmm.
So they're going to be really seriously regulated.
Mm. I almost feel like where the energy is sitting right now, it is almost leaning more towards a ban. But I think it could go kind of either way with it. I don't think that's definite. So maybe it's more of the restrictions and regulations with it.
But what I see
There's
is
changes happening.
But what I see, my guide show me another company, something else coming along like TikTok, that will actually do much better than TikTok.
Okay.
It hasn't been invented yet, but it will be soon. Remember
Okay.
that thing was called MySpace, and it was really big back in the day?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Facebook came along and replaced it.
Hmm.
That's kinda how I see what happening with TikTok. I see something else coming along that's better, that will kinda take TikTok out of the game.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I grew up when I was in high school, is when MySpace was really popular, and then like, or maybe it was even middle school, and then by the time I got into like towards the end of high school, like nobody used MySpace anymore, and everybody was on Facebook.
It was off Facebook.
Yeah, we'll do this last one because we've read on this many times, but do we still see 2 to 3 SCOTUS stepping down?
I see 2 or 3 new justices being put on the court. Um,
Okay,
so and I still see some of them gone. Clarence Thomas being one, Kavanaugh
yeah,
being another.
I
And
agree.
I wouldn't mind if Amy Coney Barrett took a hike.
Right? There's a
I
there's
see the
quite a
court
few of
I
them
see
that
the
could take
court
a hike.
coming back more moderate, and
Hmm.
at some point, Roe v. Wade is gonna be upheld again.
Yep, I agree.
That's what my guides show me anyway.
Yep, I agree with you. And I feel like even before this next presidential election, I feel maybe at least 2 of them being replaced. And Clarence Thomas has always been really strong with him leaving. So
Oh, he's
good
gonna be in
riddance.
hot water, so will his wife.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
this
so
Jack
too.
Smith stuff's gonna pull up some stuff on her too.
Mm. All right. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to be it for questions tonight. But thanks for coming in, and thank you, Mel, for joining me today. I always enjoy our Thursday shows.
Me too.
Uh, so maybe, well, we'll see what's going on, because if we got indictments coming, me and you will do personal readings here soon. But I think if indictments come, I think we got to do
Well, if
politics.
indictments are coming, we're gonna do political stuff, that's for
Right.
sure.
But we'll change it up here soon and do some personals. That'll be fun.
So next week you'll be live on my channel.
Yes.
And anyway, anything else coming up, Kevin, for you?
Um. Well, on Sunday I'm going to be on Scott Scorpio Sun Tarot, I think is his channel name. We'll be doing personals. I'll be on Deanne Shield Maiden's channel on Monday. I think we're doing politics, and then of course my Tuesday show next week, and then your show next Thursday. So
There you go.
yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works. I've been kind of busy planning a lot of shows, and I've been opening up to doing more personal readings lately too, and I've really started to enjoy that. Something a little bit different than just the politics, which isn't always the most fun energy to dive into. But
Right before I left for St. Croix, I think I did a show
Mhm.
every night that week for a week and a half. And
Yeah,
whoa. But I'm going to start doing more too. But um, it's
you've been
it's
busy lately.
it's getting busy. But I still read full time. Tuesday through Saturday, and
Mm,
so typically when I get home, it's like. But I do like to have
mm,
at least one night off where I don't have to do anything.
yeah, I hear you. It makes it hard too with I mean, I think you do more readings than I do during the week, but I mean, I do the readings in Reiki, but then also in the evenings can kind of be hard since I've been taking care of my niece and then having to get dinner ready and laundry and all that kind of, helping her with homework. So, but I've been trying to do a little bit more than what I've been doing in the past. So I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like it. I like our show.
I do too, Mel.
All right.
All right, everyone. You all have a great night, and we will see you on Mel's channel next week. Blessings, everyone.
Bye.